Well, folks, you may recall how last December we came across a story from Canadian Forces Base Borden in which members of the base were raising money for Christmas food hampers. However, we discovered it wasn't for poor people living off the base, it was for actually those military personnel and their families who didn't have enough to make ends meet. And you know, we didn't think that was right, especially given the climate in which our Prime Minister was handing out 8-figure checks to convicted Islamist terrorists. So we reached out to you, our generous Rebel viewers. We wanted to raise money for the Canadian Forces Base Borden Christmas Hamper campaign. Our goal was $10,000. You came through with giving us more than $15,000. But there was just one hitch. When we went to the base to deliver the check, nobody at the base would take it. There was various excuses given to us, but we think it was the head honchos at the Department of Defense that were embarrassed by this situation. And you know what? They should be embarrassed. In any event, we had a dilemma on our hands. We had raised all this money for a military charity, and the charity we raised it for wouldn't take it. So we found another one called Canada Company, a benevolent military organization. And that's why we're here today, to visit the people behind Canada Company, to give them the generous money that you gave us. Well, folks, I'm here with Blake Goldring and Paul Hindo. Blake is the founder of Canada Company. Paul is the interim CEO. And gentlemen, first of all, can you tell our viewers what Canada Company is all about?
Canada Company is a bridge between the broader community and our military members and their families. We want to make sure that our military members and their families get the widest recognition, care, and support possible. And we do that through a number of various programs, such as a scholarship program for the children of our fallen. We have a program which deals with LAV 3 monuments to really signify the contribution and sacrifice of Canadians, 40,000 of them that served in Afghanistan.
Speaking of helping military families, as you know, the reason I'm here and the reason we found Canada Company, and I'm very grateful for it, is that we tried to raise money for the soldiers that I guess were less well off in their families at CFB Borden. There was a Christmas food hamper drive, and originally we thought it was for another charity. Then we realized it was actually for people living on the base, you know, the military families. And we just didn't think that was right. I mean, the idea that you have people putting their lives on the line for Canada, at the same time we have a Prime Minister writing 8-figure checks for convicted terrorists, it just rubbed us the wrong way. We reached out to our viewers. Our viewers are very generous. We looked at a $10,000 fundraising goal. We raised over $15,000. Surprisingly, and I don't know if you want to weigh in on this, CFB Borden wouldn't take our check. So we were in a pickle. We had to find a charity that would take the funds. And thankfully, we discovered Canada Company. And what I'd like to do is present one of you or both of you. I'm not sure how I would do it, Paul. I've never done this before. Usually, I'm the game. And Paul, so what I'm going to do is, on the behalf of the Rebel News Network, is present you with this check for slightly over $15,000, courtesy of our very generous viewers, and we really appreciate, folks, you coming up to the plate yet again. And maybe, Paul, can you tell our viewers what, you know, some of the things that money might be going towards?
Well, as first of all, thank you very much to you and to your viewers for raising this money, and we'll gladly accept it, and we're gladly going to use it to help our men and women in uniform and our veterans. You know, and as motto says, many ways to serve. And basically what we do is we serve those who serve us. Anything that we can do for those people who put their lives on the front line for the sake for our country and to preserve our life and our way of living, then they deserve our utmost support, and this is what we're going to do. So there's many things that we do, such as, for example, we have the scholarship program, which is we give scholarships every year to the children of fallen comrades. So that's one program that we have. We have the Lab Monument program. We have something called the Strategic Knowledge Exchange, in which we bring in business leaders and military leaders, and we exchange best practices and ideas and try to solve some of the issues that are relevant to both organizations. But one of the things that we used to also have done in the past, which is run a camp for the children of our soldiers who were deployed in Afghanistan. Many times we have both parents were deployed, so what are the kids going to do in the summer? So we ran that program. So there's many ways, and we're going to try to look for the next, whatever our military leaders would like us to what is the specific need they have, and hopefully with this money and some of the other money that we raise, we can address that and we can serve our men and women in uniform.
Well, Paul and Blake, it gives me great pleasure on the behalf of our Rebel viewers to give you that money. And as you know, folks, as you saw our report in December, we tried to give it to Canadian Forces Base Borden. They wouldn't take it. But luckily, you'll be happy to know that with Canada Company, your hard-earned money is going to a good military-related cause, and I want to thank you again. And once again, Paul, thank you very much, and Blake, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Any parting words, sir?
Well, just again, thank you and your viewers for support of our organization.
Fantastic. Okay. Thank you. And they all lived happily ever after, right? Well, not so fast, folks. There's a bizarre epilogue to this feel-good tale. You see, an inexplicable thing happened just minutes after recording our Canada Company report. The Rebel staffer who coordinated the check presentation, Itan, received emailed correspondence from the interim executive director, Paul Hindo, one of the two individuals you saw being interviewed. Hindo stated the following, quote, "I regret to inform you that Canada Company is unable to accept the check presented this afternoon, as our policies do not permit us to endorse political views of any organization. As such, we will be returning the check to your attention via registered mail," end quote. What? In fact, Hindo also requested in a letter that we not air the footage you just saw regarding the check presentation, and further requested that the video footage be surrendered to Canada Company. Now, folks, absolutely nothing about this makes any sense. How was it that Canada Company morphed from an organization that was only too happy to receive your generous donations at 2 p.m. on Tuesday, but by 5:09 p.m. on Tuesday, the charity did an abrupt about-face, claiming this check that we gave on your behalf was suddenly money non grata? And the ostensible policy reason for turning down the check simply doesn't make any sense either. For starters, Rebel Media is not a political organization. As our name would suggest, we're a media company. Secondly, we never asked Canada Company to endorse us or any of our viewpoints, and no endorsement was given. We were simply providing some funds so that Canada Company could put those funds to good use. In fact, if anything, Rebel Media was endorsing Canada Company by presenting this charity with that check and giving their principals some airtime to tell our viewers what a great job Canada Company does for veterans and their families. And I can tell you that we have no idea where Canada Company sits on the political spectrum. In fact, we don't care if Canada Company shares our politics or not. Our donation is a nonpartisan charitable act for those in need, period. Third, regarding those funds, that $15,000 is not our money, it's your money. Rebel Media merely served as a platform in which to raise those funds. So, what is the unspoken story at play here? Who is the real heavy when it comes to turning down money that was so generously donated by you, our Rebel viewers? Well, there's no way the bad guy here is Paul Hindo, I'll tell you that. Paul is not that kind of guy. Paul is a philanthropist. There's no chance Paul did a 180-degree backflip on his own accord in the space of just 3 hours when it came to accepting money from Rebel Media. In fact, I'm almost certain Paul Hindo did not even write that letter he sent to us. Rather, I think he was instructed to do so, but by whom? Chances are we'll never know for certain unless Paul volunteers that information. But here's my gut feeling, folks. This is nothing more than political interference from the federal Liberal government. We know they hate the fact that we exposed what was going on at CFB Borden regarding the Christmas food drive. That's the real reason why we couldn't give our donations to CFB Borden in the first place. And we know the Liberals hate the fact that we've made the point that the wonderful men and women who serve in the Canadian Forces can barely make ends meet while jihadi terrorists get rewarded with millions of your tax dollars. So the Liberals are obviously playing politics here. Hey, you want to play politics? Fine by us. But leave the kids out of this. Those kids who would have benefited from our viewers' donations to Canada Company. Or do the Liberals loathe the rebels so much that in order to score cheap political points, they would actually throw military families under the tank? That's how it looks to me. But here's the rub. Despite the vindictive viewpoint of their political masters, we know that so many men and women serving in the Canadian military love the rebel. Indeed, we only found out about the situation at CFB Borden upon being tipped off by a soldier serving there. And you want to know something? The feeling is mutual. We love the military. Over the years, Rebel Media has conducted fundraising campaigns in which our viewers have donated more than $400,000 to military causes, including $100,000 for the family of Corporal Nathan Cirillo. It's clear that the good folks at Canada Company are running with some pretty bad company these days. Indeed, like some anonymous camouflage sniper lurking in the weeds, someone in the Trudeau Liberal government is carrying out an anti-rebel agenda and making Paul Hindo out to be the villain in the process. That's not right. And how sad, how tragic that this mean-spirited vendetta doesn't harm us so much as it harms the men and women in our military who apparently need all the help they can get. But you know something, folks? Enough is enough. This rejection of our donation is akin to the summer job attestation. In this case, it would appear to be that if donors espouse the wrong political opinions, well, at least wrong in the eyes of this current federal government, then there shall be a price to pay. But in this case, the price being paid is veterans getting screwed out of donations that our viewers gave in good faith. That is nothing short of egregious. As well, as I've pointed out, this is the second time we've experienced this kind of interference. And I suspect it's coming from Liberals who hate the rebel more than they love our own troops. So I'm going to hand deliver a petition to the office of Harjit Sajjan, the Defense Minister. We've set up a petition at www.calloffyourdogs.com. And the wording of the petition is very simple. Quote, "We demand that the Trudeau government stop blocking donations from grassroots Canadians who want to support our military." End quote. That's it. Calloffyourdogs.com. Sign that petition and I'll hand deliver it myself, and I'll email you a video of me doing that, and I'll keep you up to date with any other developments. That's calloffyourdogs.com. Thank you. Hey folks, are you tired of the political interference when it comes to military charities? Well, please go to calloffyourdogs.com and sign the petition today.